Good evening, Ghana, and welcome to one of the most educative programs that you can ever find in any studio, on your TV screens, anywhere. This evening's edition is even going to be even much more special. So today we'll be talking about fathers. You know, we already have the Fathers Month ongoing. Father's Day was a couple of days ago, but we are still in the month of fathers, and so it's one thing that we are not going to stop talking about. The same thing I keep saying. We don't want the boxer shorts. And if you have not surprised your husband, your boyfriend, your brother, please, it's for men, your father, please surprise them now. It's not too late. At least this week is there before the month ends. Something small, but still, we don't want the handkerchiefs and the boxer shorts. Let it be bigger, okay? So one thing I'll never stop. So I'll say this the whole year. If you like, come and beat me. It's okay. It's just to support the men. We are men. So like I said earlier, we're going to be discussing something very important, and let me just go straight and let you know what it is that we are discussing: growing tomorrow's men. So growing the younger boys to become the fathers that you and I want them to become, the husbands that our mothers who wish the boys will grow up to become. How do we grow these boys? It takes the men to do that. We want the men to tell us how we should be able to grow this men. Look, feel free and join us on all our social media platforms at ETV Ghana. So at ETV Ghana on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can find us at ETV Ghana. And today, please let your messages start coming early enough. 020 2222054. I repeat, 020 2222054. I'm going to go on my very first break. When I'm back, I'll tell you who and who are here to do the discussion with me. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, we are in the lounge, and like I said before, we are discussing growing tomorrow's men. How do we make the boys today become the fathers that we expect them to become? And I told you that when I'm back, I'll be telling you who and who are here to do the discussion with me. Again, let me remind you to join us on all our social media platforms at ETV Ghana. So on Twitter, on Facebook, and Instagram at ETV Ghana, you can be part of this. And then your WhatsApp message is very important to me. 020 Keep them coming, keep the questions coming, and your contributions early enough so that we can ask the guest that I'm here with. Today I'm here with a very interesting man. He happens to be Michael Ohene Efa. Michael happens to be the co-founder, Leader Freak International. Michael is the co-founder and chief inspiration officer of Leader Freak International, and so they are an organization that teaches leadership and soft skills in a structured way, okay, in schools under a program called Leadership Farm. So he has a farm of leadership. Whilst you are planting the trees for him, he's planting leadership. Michael, I'll keep the rest. I'll tell my friends later. Awesome. Akwaba.
Yeah.
What to say?
Adom.
Good to see you.
Adom ni nyamimo, bro.
Oh, there's one song I love so much, and that's how it starts. I can't sing it here. My bad voice will just give me away. So also with Michael is not going to be doing this alone. There's one person who is a friend to the lounge. I mean, he enjoys coming here. I told you. As to what I give him, I won't tell you. But that's what keeps him, coming here. So he's in the name of Reverend Benny Osei Dua. Rev.
Yes, sir.
Akwaba.
Yeah.
Last year we were doing this
Yes.
and that.
Yes.
I think it's the first time in so many months that I've actually...
We really shake hands.
Let's do it again. We miss it. This is what, we used to do.
Yeah.
Guys, Akwaba to all of you.
Yeah.
How's the week been? I haven't seen you the whole year, right?
Yeah.
Wow. How's the week been for you?
It's been good. Gracefully, today happened to start on the very quiet note, but had a lot to do. Envisaging what happens, from today till Sunday. So yes, it's been good.
Nice one. Michael.
Yeah.
Your week good?
Very good.
More.
But the year has been. We started 2nd January. I haven't stopped.
Wow.
Yes.
You need to rest though.
Yes, it's been a blistering pace to the year.
Wow.
So we thank God.
But it's coming up good anyway.
Very good.
We
Very
thank
good.
God.
Yeah.
So we are doing the discussion with these two gentlemen. They have chunks of wisdom to share, but like we always do, our concentration is to look at what we can do to help tomorrow's society. So, guys, Akwaba. So we are discussing how to grow our boys. You have a son, don't you?
Yeah.
Michael, you have a son too, I guess.
Yes, Nana
Great.
Kofi.
Nice one. So we are going to be talking about how to grow these men, these boys, to become the tomorrow's father. Probably what we are, or even better than us. And that is what we'll be discussing. Let me start with you, Benny.
All right.
How important is it for you, the father, to be part of growing up of your son?
Well, thank you very much, Nana, and a great good evening to your cherished viewers. My kids are to sleep by 8:30. Usually it's 8 o'clock, but today they said I keep coming to TV. I never mentioned them, so I should say hi to them.
Please go ahead.
So, Mami Sewa and Nana Kojo, good evening, and to your mommy as well, Nana. Hello to you. I've done my job, so now let me get back to work.
They can go to sleep.
They can go to sleep now.
I agree.
All right. Yeah. So thank you very much once again. I think that no one wakes up to become anything without putting in the right investments to make them become. I am who I am today by virtue of the things that were put in me and the things I put in me. The truth is, you can never walk away from what investments are made into you. We are products of the things that enter us. So the Bible says that as a man thinketh, so he is. Not just that, but whatever you do today, I think there's a great mind that said that sow a thought, you reap an act. Sow an act, you reap a character. Sow a character, you reap a habit. And sow a habit, you reap a destiny or a destination or a future. So the very things you put in boys today is what will determine what they become tomorrow. And that is why the conversation about raising them is very critical to whatever we do today. Whatever we intend for our boys to become in the space of being men or fathers or husbands, then the investments must begin today. They used to criticize our grandfathers a lot, how they handled the home, how they related to their, with their children, and a couple of things started changing along the line. We are here today, and whatever we are doing will pave way to what our sons would also become. Today, I happened to chance on one documentary interviewing fathers on the streets on Father's Day about, asking them basic questions about their children. For example, what's the date of birth of their kids? Trust me, for the 3 fathers that were interviewed, none of them could call. In fact, one of them...
Is it not supposed to be normal?
Well, you see, that is the thing. It's because fathers maybe have not paid a lot of attention.
Okay. Yeah.
We've always had the mindset that we are providers, we are this, so it stays there. But that is not the only role that fathers should play in developing their children. And I think that for the starters, being interested is very critical to what happens to your children. Knowing who they are, who surrounds them, who is speaking into them, who invests into them is critical to their development.
Michael, how important is it for us, the fathers, to be in the lives of our sons as they grow up?
It's not just important, it's crucially important.
Critically crucial.
Critically crucial.
I love that.
Okay.
Because a family is the smallest breakdown of society.
Okay.
Now, who heads the family?
The father.
The father. So, as a country, this conversation, you need to take it out of this lounge into the national discourse. Because where Ghana is going to be in the next 20 years will be shaped by this conversation, and conversations such as this in homes, in churches, in mosques, and in offices. Because where Ghana is going to be in the next 25 years will be determined by the kind of Ghanaian we are going to have in 25 years. And who are the ones who provide direction for that Ghanaian? It is the father, the male figure. The male figure in the life. Somebody said that it is easier to build boys than to mend men.
It is easier
to build boys. Build up boys.
Yes.
Than to mend men.
That's
because
deep.
You see, the way I see it is that the process of providing direction for the proper development of young people is like the way our builders, you know, they put the call pongpo.
Yeah.
You know, when they cast concrete,
yes,
it's soft, and they can shape it in any way they can. When it sets in 21 days, that's it. You must now use hammer
to break it,
to chop it. That's what it means by it's easier to build up boys than to mend men. And so this conversation, providing a proper guidance and direction for boys, is a national discussion.
It obviously tells all of us that it's not just critical, but it's critically crucial. Or it's crucially critical, right? Okay, so moving on. We've all seen the kind of boys that are being raised today. I mean, should I say generally? How different is it? What is missing? I mean, I'll give a clear example, and it's not because I think I'm too old or anything, but I see some of these young folks with their, I wonder if they deliberately buy the kind of jeans that's bigger than their waist. I mean, there are so many things I find quite interesting. But what is the difference? What our current crop of boys, what's going on? Michael?
A lot of things are going on the part of society itself, on the part of the young people, and then on the part of our families. Society itself has changed. The current generation is what we call Generation Alpha, or Generation Z, and then Generation Y, and then Generation X, and then so we are in a world, a technologically advanced world, where these children have been born into. That is shaping them. Today, 1 year old, you give the 1 year old the phone, they know how to handle it. They are what we call digital natives.
Okay.
You and I are the digital migrants.
Please, I'm still a native. I'm a native. Anyway.
Stay with us.
It's okay. It's okay. Let me just lead you. Okay.
So, you see, society itself has created a different kind of human being.
Yeah.
Who are these young people? We don't understand their world because we come from a different generation. And so that is one aspect of the issue that we need to look at. That a considerable number of parents of today seem to be at their wits' end in how to manage their children. And it's because we come from
different generations. Okay.
So that's one aspect or one dynamic we need to look at. The other dynamic is that when we were growing up, a lot of our mothers stayed at home or were in professions that allowed them to come home early to provide direction. So if they were teachers, by 1 they were at home.
That's correct.
Or, so there was not much pressure. Today we have double income families. And so mom is gone because she's a senior executive, dad is gone. By the time they come, it is, I don't want to mention a brand name, but it is a TV program that is educating the child. And so that is something we need to look at. And it appears as if the way we are living, Accra, for instance, hasn't been designed for productivity and hasn't been designed with the family in mind. And so a lot of the working class are spending half of their day or at least a quarter of their day in traffic. So they are missing quality family bonding time. By the time they get home, they are so tired that the last thing they want to do is to listen to their child come and tell them about their school day. So that is another dynamic that is now leaving these boys to be trained by videos and TikTok stars. And now we have a profession called social media influencer.
I mean, you have a brand and you need them. That's what it's beginning to become now.
So that's the thing. And then, of course, the sheer proliferation of media. Media has become very intrusive. When I was growing up in the 80s, there was only one TV station. And it came on at 6:30. And a lot of the programming was said I didn't even watch it. Today, the average home, if you take on the satellite dishes, has access to over 500 TV channels.
True.
And they are all 24 hours.
True.
So that's one aspect. The proliferation of media and its impact on the development of our young people is something we need to look at. And because there's no content regulation, they are showing anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at 11 a.m. when kids are at home, they are showing some witchcraft somewhere. And that is what our children are taking in.
That's correct.
You know, there's no content regulation.
True. I
So
totally agree.
that's one of the things we need to look at. And because of the hustle,
we don't even have the time to want to check these things.
So these are some of the dynamics.
Benny, what is missing in the lives of the boys today? What is missing?
So I think Michael mentioned a lot of very, very, critical things that if we're really interested in the development of the boy child today, we should pay attention. See, because it's touched on some of them, I'll just maybe veer a bit.
Yeah.
Let me go on the side of education. I know it's one of the strong areas. Being in the field as well, I've come to realize that today, because of how girl child has been deficient over the years, with opportunities, with access, with the empowerment they lacked, they have been able to design or craft a policy globally that is focused on empowering the girl child.
Yeah.
Which we need. In fact, we need more interventions like that.
For the boy child or
for the girl?
For the girl. Okay.
Because we need to be able to create equity with education, that girl child should be able to have access, should be able to have the opportunities that the boy child, children have enjoyed over the years.
Okay.
That being done, what has happened is that we have swung to the extreme end of the pendulum and dropped the focus on development of the boy child.
Okay.
So this is what's going to happen.
Because we think they can survive anyway.
Exactly. 20 years down the line, we are shipping a lot of development into the girl child and forgetting the boy child. There is not a single policy funded for the boy child development. Not one. If you know it, name it. If any of your viewers has any, bring it on. There is not a single policy. Michael's Leadership Farm is a private initiative where they find a gap to be able to find, and find a resolve that can help young children today. But there are no state interventions. There are no state departments that talk for the boy. So already the boy has been handicapped. People are asking why there's so much crime, and there is no support for the boy. So by the time you go through primary school, go through secondary school, there is nothing. I mean, I've had the privilege to work with Plan International, where they do a lot of advocacy programs in the eastern, the northern, and the upper west. I've had opportunity to do some work with CAMFED. What is the campaign for female education? They give scholarships every year, not less than 300 to 400 girls in Ghana to go to university. They support them. They give them all the things they need.
Yeah.
Trust me, there is not a single thing for the boy.
Benny, I think you are drawing a very it's an attention you are drawing to something that I really think we should take critically. But before we do, let me quickly go on a break. I'm informed there's a technical hitch. Need to quickly attend to it, and then we come back. Please stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Well, glad to be back. Welcome back. We are still in the studio discussing how to grow the boys of today to become the fathers and the husbands that we want them to become tomorrow. And Benny, before we left, was making a point on how there seemed to be so much emphasis on the girl child, but the son or the boy child. and we think, look, let's be just straightforward. We think it's unfair. We probably should begin to take a look at that, because all the issues happening, how many armed robbers have you seen or heard that they are women? I doubt if there will be any at all. There could be, but how many? But you hear, and they'll be arrested, and the boys, and the boys, and the boys. It is because there's a certain focus that's been lost on the boys, which is what we need to look at. Benny.
No.
You know, when you were speaking, I picked a point from something there. The moment you spoke about this girl child, and there's nothing boy child, I'm like, okay, we live in a country where there's a whole ministry for gender. Do they care about boys?
I think they do. I think, to be fair, let's position this conversation well. See, we need a lot of advocacy for the girl child.
I mean, we are not saying we don't. But what about the boys?
Yes, it's true.
Have we seen any problem with the girls?
See, I'm raising this because of only the lack of equity, the imbalance that we are creating.
Is it not enough? Is it enough? We've promoted them enough.
We need more.
You think so?
More empowerment for our women. We need more opportunities, access to funding, access to opportunities that helps them to be able to come out of certain shelters, if you like. While doing this, it doesn't mean that put now bandages on the boys, band them down, that they don't have access to any opportunity whatsoever. See, when a girl is broke, it is so easy for her to pick a phone and call someone, a boy or someone, she will get sorted out. But who does the boy run to? We have Waju, we have this and that intervenes, even in domestic issues. But there are so many boys today, there are so many men today who cannot speak out because, see, let me ask you here, even with your studio audience here, where do you go if a guy has a problem?
Oh, we'll go to Maju.
What number?
Since there's Waju, we'll find Maju.
Does Maju exist?
We'll just find Maju and go
to when a man or a boy has a problem, they go to the local pub.
I mean, that's the only your almost fully resolution. Yes.
But you see, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Because you see, if we critically are looking at addressing, you talk about raising the husbands of tomorrow. Today, the girl is being so empowered with STEM programs. They're going through coding, doing AI interventions, technology, upgrades.
Yeah.
Guess what? The boy that do not have access to this, because even those that are interested don't have the parents or the funding to make that available. 20 years down the line, this empowered girl is looking for a man to marry. Guess who is available? The unempowered boy. So we are so much empowering the girl child and leaving the boy child hanging.
Are you saying they'll end up marrying the men soon?
Well, at the end of the day, they still hang out with them.
So at the end of the day, even soon in Ghana, maybe women will be marrying men.
Even if you don't want to marry them, they still hanging out with them, having babies with them, even if they don't want to be called wives of these boys. So I mean, there's a critical misfit in the conversation, and like Michael said, these are conversations that we must have publicly. And I think off camera, we're talking about South Africa. What South Africa did right but became wrong because of how it's implemented. Then how we have copied blindly and trying to implement into our society. And these are critical things we cannot take our eyes off. I think for me, that is a very critical element. If we are interested in the boy-child development.
Of course, which is the reason why we have started this discussion. We need to drill down, keep drilling down until we get the right response and the followership to get this thing really sounded very well in the ears of those we call our leaders. Some of these things, we don't have to joke with them at all. We need to just nail, put the nail right at the right and put the biggest hammer on it to just drive it home. You don't want me to say what I want to say?
Oh, no, please feel free to your show.
Anyway, could it also be that as fathers, seeing what the current boys are and our fear of what they could become, is it that there's something we are not telling them? Should we take the blame to some extent that there's something we are rather doing wrong? Michael?
As far as what is concerned?
As far as what we see them now to be. I mean, for example, I think I've shared this with Benny once about, and forgive me, it's not as though I don't want somebody's business to, become successful. But personally, when I see these gambling companies, I get sad, especially when I see those young people below the ages of 16 and 18 at those football places gambling. I get very sad.
Why?
So you see, I see them spend so much time over there, and the question I ask myself is, in 15 years, when the other boy or some family have struggled to try to put something together right, the same people who we saw 15 years ago and we didn't care, we thought it was normal, come back and behave as though they are the reasons why they are where they are. And which is my worry. And it comes back to the same discussion we are having today, that if there was something particular to some way, somehow mold or shape them out of that character, who says don't do it? You can do it, but please wait until you turn 18. How do we enforce these things?
Now you see, no society grows or develops by heart. When I'm training, I use the word by heartically.
We are picking the word. Benny, you
it's
can't
intellectual property.
I'm close to
by heartically.
by heartically.
No society grows by heartically. Every society grows deliberately via a national strategy.
Policy.
That's
correct.
Laws, rules, regulations. That is what nations that have developed have done.
That's correct.
What we haven't done, as we sit here, what is our national strategy for the development of children? Do we know? Exactly. So we allowed just about anything and everything to come in.
Yeah.
We open up the gates of thought to just about anything. There's no deliberate, well-structured strategy for the development of the Ghanaian person. Let's even take boys out, but for the development of Ghanaian
in
person.
general.
And for me, this started about 25 years ago, when we just started doing anything goes. Anything goes.
Everything is welcome.
Everything is welcome without regulation, and allowed the factors of commerce to determine how you and I live, eat, sleep, and work. So the state must begin to take its proper place in the development of the Ghanaian.
Sorry, which state?
Ghana.
Well, I was actually going to ask him who is the state. who is the state?
Somebody will say the powers that be.
They are nowhere to be found.
not interested.
You know, until was it last year or this year? You know, you couldn't take gum into Singapore. Chewing gum.
Know that.
Exactly. Just about last year that they lifted the ban. It's been over 60 years.
Can you imagine?
Yes, you couldn't take chewing gum into Singapore. You see, so this is how they have regulated and structured the society. I talked about even residential. We should be interested in where people live because it has an impact on their mental health. You know, so this unbridled welcoming of just about anything is what has brought us to where we are today. And if we don't stop it by deliberately bringing in certain checks, and you see, it is the duty of the state to create boundaries for acceptable conduct. Anywhere in the world, it is the even America that shouts freedom, human right. It is one of the most regulated societies. Even within the country that says everything is free.
That's correct.
How much more we? But we sit here, anything goes, any song goes, any TV program goes, any, like you talked about gambling. Who is checking the impact of gambling?
For me, it's something I'll never stop talking about.
Exactly, on our youth. And all we are doing is the money. Once I come in, I have money to pay the license. That nobody is checking it. Nobody is checking the impact of this. The religious bloc is quiet. And we watch our young children gambling their lives away.
Well, you don't want to go there, I know. It's just too much. And if you allow me, I'll just say the word.
Let's leave it to Benny.
It's okay.
He's a reverend.
I mean, he will tackle it later. but Benny, Michael.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not.
That's right.
There are these young people
Yeah.
who have to come to where we are a certain tomorrow. Could be far or not far from now. What should we begin to do right, as in you and I, to get it right? What should we begin to look at?
Very good question.
This question you've asked is a billion-dollar question.
It's a thesis.
Yeah, it's.
Let's start writing.
It's a conversation that would need 5 years of brainstorming of different things that should happen meticulously, being pedantic, picking the right things, every single element of the boy, and putting it on the table and breaking it down mind mapping different things to get to different destinations, as many times as it may require. See, we can say a few things off our sleeves here, but let me just take a part of, Michael's submission. It begins with a commitment from leadership within our communities. Unfortunately, our leadership are not interested. From the government, heads of governments, institutions, they're not committed. See, I don't think any of them is committed to the development of the Ghanaian. For me, and it's my personal opinion and view, people will say Nyame Ambema, yes, this is the Nyame Ambema Republic or whatever they call it. But Nyame Beye. The critical thing is, a couple of years ago, I heard a story about an interview that was conducted to the Prime Minister of Singapore, and they asked, what was the miracle, or what caused the miracle of the Singaporean Revolution? How did Singapore, because when Singapore got its independence, Ghana gave Singapore some money. Ghana gave some huge sums of money for Singapore to develop. Today, we consider Singapore as one of the to-go-to destinations in the world. Now, they asked him, what is the brain, what's behind this miracle? Then he said only three things. Number one is education. Number two is education. And number three is education. See, information does something to a person that would let them change many things about themselves. Today, a lot of our young people have the mindset that education is a scam, because they can go to school for so many other years. This dude, who is a grassroots political party activist, within a year builds 3 filling stations, builds, 3 mansions. There are so many things they look at. It's like, dude, why waste my time studying for all these years? Let me just go into that terrain. And it's big money element. So the guy who is trying to convince me to go back to school is showing me different things that schooling is not doing for them.
Yeah.
So what is my motivation for following them? No. So this is why the Ponzi schemes, the 419s, the Yahoos, and these things are becoming, the betting, companies you're talking about are becoming more interesting for these our young people.
So Benny, what should you and I, we are the immediate fathers, so growing up those young ones, what should
so I'm talking about education.
Okay.
But then the education must not be what we have been given over the years. Because giving someone scholarship to go and learn, I hope someone don't get me wrong on this one. See, Ghana is a nation that needs to be built. For nation building, there are some critical things that must be developed here. Ghana, if we would take on a heart about technical vocational components, Ghana will go very far. Then also leadership development in this nation.
Yeah.
Transformational leadership development. Unfortunately, we are not interested. See, the doctor who needs to set up the clinic will need a TVET person to step in there. Everything that needs to be built, roads, houses, buildings, it needs technical vocational.
Yeah.
Why do we have free senior education for the guy going to the secondary school, but nothing was available for the guy going to the technical vocational school? Why must we make hula baloos about it and cry wolf before it could get a bit of attention? So it could tell us that policy driven wise, there is no even interest. Until recently, they're trying to, okay, all right, Michael, you.
Benny, cease fast. Please, drink water. Drink some water.
I love the passion.
I can
connect
but,
the passion.
you see,
yeah.
I can understand him.
In my community, in the church, I'm looking at the lives of people and how much lack they have because they don't have access. And no one is interested. You understand? So I'm dealing with it practically on a day-to-day level.
And then you'd imagine what you will look like even in 10 years.
Dude, I'm telling you, I'm looking at the...
Wow.
Well, it's a different thing.
I'm sure you at home have seen how fired up Benny is. And I don't even want to go to Michael yet. Let me just go on this break. Please stay with us. We'll be back. I need to calm him down, okay? So stay with us. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, we are still in the lounge. Like I said before we left for the break, Betty was on fire. I've given him some water to drink, and so he's calm now. Now I'm going to open the phone lines pretty shortly, but before that, please watch our investment link. And so, as always, on the Men's Lounge, we like to tell you what we think can help you to save, invest, and be a better person in future. So that was an investment link for you, and we expect that you learn more into the companies that you want to invest your money into. At least know that that company has some consistency in what sales or investment that they do, where the dividends come from. You should be interested in that also. Don't just go throw your money in there and think you are done. It doesn't work like that. Guys, we are back. But before, again, the phone lines are open. I can assume you are also fired up out there. The number is 0555 657278. 0555 657278. Please call us. Ask questions. Share your thoughts. Tell us what you think. And tell us how you think we can begin to mold today's boys into the fathers and the husbands that we expect them to be tomorrow. Michael. Yes, sir. We are back.
Very good.
Yeah.
I think that question you asked is the problem of the day.
Let's solve it.
Yes.
Let's solve it.
And it's once again a very, very important question. I offer 3 suggestions. There are 3 things that 3 actors must do. One is the school, the religious community, churches, mosques, and then fathers or parents. What must the school do? A school is not only for the acquisition of academic knowledge, but it's for the development of a person.
Yeah.
And our schools need to be remodeled, redesigned to get that they are preparing people for life, not pumping academic facts into their heads. And so if I had my way and I was Minister for Education,
Michael, hold on. I'll make you minister, but there's a caller. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Pearl, and I'm calling from Sinyane. I fellowship at Family House Chapel, where Reverend Ben is a resident pastor.
Hi, Pearl. Thank you for calling. Share with us your thoughts.
I attend Sinyane Technical University, and I think like those of us who attend the technical universities, we are underestimated.
Okay.
But then we are more practically inclined, although sometimes our facilities are not as many as the typical universities, but our lecturers are more practically inclined. And the way they teach us, like the things they tell us, they teach us to be more entrepreneurial, and then they give us more practical than the theory. But I believe that in the typical universities, you don't get that. But people rather want to go to the typical universities than come to the technical universities, which is very bad.
Okay.
So that's my thoughts on that. Thank you.
Okay, Pearl, thank you so much. And I think you've spoken the mind of Benny when he was just opposing the technical schools to look, whether you go to wherever and you become whatever doctor, you need those in the other side to help to make whatever career you have a better one. Thank you so much, Pearl.
Thank you too.
So I was saying that our schools need to be remodeled to focus on character.
Where I'm going to make you the education minister, of course.
Sharp.
It's a very critical thing.
Yes. Yeah. And then there's a book about 36 years ago, a pastor called Robert Fulghum wrote a book and says, all I really need to know I learned in kindergarten.
Wow.
Yes, and he just offered about, just really how to live with people. Wait your turn. When you offend somebody, say sorry.
Yeah.
Just those simple rules. But you realize that if we can get our children before they are 7 to imbibe this, we would have a very decent society.
Michael, I'll hold you on again. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you are calling from. Hello. Can you hear us, please?
Yeah. I'm calling from Accra.
Okay. We seem to struggle a bit with your network. If you don't mind, kindly call again. Can you hear us or can you speak?
My name is Osei Kufuor. I'm calling from Accra.
Hi, Osei Kufuor. Let's hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. Unfortunately, I think the owners of the network are playing hide and seek. Please help us to get him back so that we can hear Osei Kufuor. Really sorry about that, but we're expecting you to call back or we get to speak to you. Michael.
Yeah. So that's what our schools need to do, to focus more, because you see, at the end of the day, like we are discussing, the product of our schools will be the human beings who are going to get married to other people, work with other people. And so we need to focus on the end instead of just looking at factors of characteristics of. It's not helping Ghanaian kids.
Okay.
Then there is a role for we, the fathers.
I'm going to have to hold you on again, Michael. Good evening, caller. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Accra.
You're calling from your name again, please.
Osei Kufuor.
Oh, hi, Osei Kufuor. Thank you for calling again. Are you the footballer we know?
No, this is Vincent's brother.
Okay, please speak. Let's hear you.
Yes, my
Okay.
Yes, my little take on what you guys are. It's very hard. I joined the conversation. I think latter part of your discussion.
Okay.
It's quite difficult when it comes to guys getting, let's say, money or other things from others. And now the system is very hard, such a way that guys do this base fraud and kind of stuff. Nowadays, the fraud is gone. The rest left is Shakawa. I can tell you for the fact that the rest, because no one will just do $1 million or something, because all the education is coming from their end. Okay, so if a program can be ushered out to start in terms of a guy is coming up, because they are killing not you with the innocent who just get it. So I think it's a nice program if it can be organized and being automated in
Well, it's a bit difficult trying to really hear you, Osei Kufuor, but I assume you are giving us a very good delivery. It would be great if you could probably get on our social media pages and put across these thoughts that you have so that we can read and possibly take out what we need to work with. We'll be glad if you can do that for us. It's quite a struggle. Unfortunately, it's not your fault, but we're finding it quite difficult to hear you. Please. Thank you.
Can I please come in?
Go ahead.
Kufuor, please. I want to, it's a very dangerous thought that you have, that there are no opportunities in this country and therefore all that young men have to do is Sakawa and gambling. Please, please, there are more opportunities in this country than anywhere else. In the world. And so I want you to open your eyes and your mind to possibility and to begin to change your perspective as far as life is concerned.
As far as life is concerned.
In this same place that we are going around saying, Kumwaishi, there are Indians and Lebanese who are making millions of money.
I'll tell you what, a Chinese friend tells me that, Nana, when there is traffic, it is money. When there is traffic, and we are shouting,
yes.
He says, oh, no, it's good. It is money.
That's it.
Anyway, I'm sure you won't be happy to hear this, but unfortunately, this is all time will permit us. But I'll pick my last words from Benny. You know he was on fire, so I allowed him to cool down.
Maybe let him land.
How about? Oh no, I mean, Michael, I want to bring him back. If he lands, he won't come back. Maybe we should consider continuing this because there's so much that we haven't been able to tackle when it comes to growing that boy to be the father that you and I expect and the husband that our mothers even expect them to be. Benny, your last words.
Well, I think for starters, I want to say big ups to you and the team for bringing this topic. I think it opens up conversations. One of the things in the church where I happen to serve, I've tried to raise, even with the leadership, is having to draw a development plan for the children, not just coming through Sunday school, to come and read Bible and that's it. If we're not careful. We develop a lot of religious, okay, I nearly brought a word, but religious kids who don't understand what it really means to be a Christian who has impact on society.
Yeah.
Christianity shouldn't be in the church room only, but society must have an impact or an influence from what we are about. That's why I said that the light must shine, not be placed under a bushel. And I think fathers should step up and be more interested in what happens in the lives of their children. It's the start. Of course, this conversation, I think, would need a bit more time.
Yes, of course, the conversation will need a bit of more time. We'll have to probably come back. Maybe I should speak with my producers and see. We could probably have a part 2 of this discussion, maybe next week or another time, which will be feasible for Michael and Benny to join us. This is all time would permit us. Like I said, thank you so much for being part of our evening. Be safe out there. I've been hearing some snipers of the corona still trying to chop into the market, but please, let's not forget to wash our hands, sanitize, and do all the things that we need to do. Thank you so much to Tyson's Big Hills Bakery for making this possible. Thank you so much for everybody in the studio. We hope to come again next week with another exciting episode of The Men's Lounge. Please be safe until next week.